Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jacklyn and I'm very glad to have you. In today's video, we are going to be talking through all the books that I read in the month of August. This was quite a successful reading month for me. I got through 9 books, which normally my average is about 6 to 8, so I got through 9 books and yeah, it was quite successful. I had a really good reading month. We are going to discuss all of the books that I read. Out of the 5 books that I had on my TBR, which I will show you here, I ended up getting through 4 of the books on that TBR. That is also a very successful month for me, getting through my TBR. Hopefully I can keep that up going into future months. We're not going to muck around, we're just going to get straight into it. Starting off, the first book that I read in the month of August was a short story by Frederick Bachman called The Answer Is No. And I rated this 3 stars. I really enjoyed it. I love Frederick Bachman's writing. I just really connect with his writing style, the way that he talks about life and the world and the different perspectives that he puts on things. I just really connect to it. I am always highlighting things that he puts in his stories. For what The Answer Is No is about specifically, it follows a man, his name is Lucas. Basically, he's a bit of a loner. He doesn't have any family, he doesn't have any friends, he doesn't want to go out, he just wants to stay in his apartment building. He orders takeaway food, he plays video games, and he claims that he is 100% happy, and the key to happiness is just not being around other people. That's his key to happiness. He doesn't want to know anybody, he doesn't want anybody to know him, and that's the way he likes it. It's only a short story, so I read it on my Kindle and it's only around 60 or 70 pages, I think. It was a really quick, easy read. You know, in 60 pages you can't throw in an abundance of things, but a lot did happen in the short story. Basically what happens is I just realized I have a massive cardboard box on the bed up there. Whatever, doesn't matter. Basically what happens is the committee or the board of the apartment building that Lucas lives in comes to his apartment building, knocks on his door and demands to see his frying pan. And the reason they want to see his frying pan is because somebody left a frying pan outside the recycling building rather than inside the recycling building. They just left it outside, and this causes a massive issue in the apartment building. And rather than just picking up the fry pan and putting it in the recycling, they leave it there and they want to find the person who put it there. They want to find the guilty party. So they demand to see his frying pan, and from there it's kind of like a snowball effect of him having to deal with these people and go out into the outside world and deal with this issue that has come up. Okay, it's really funny, it's got a lot of humor, it also has some interesting characters in it, people that he has to deal with and connect with to deal with this problem, challenge his views on his life and the way he chooses to live, and he kind of has this change in perspective of what's valuable within life. And Frederick Bachman always has these beautiful underlying messages and beautiful meanings beneath the story of life and what's important and what really matters, and it's just really beautiful the way that he writes. So I gave it 3 stars. I really enjoyed it. I honestly could have rated it more. I could have rated it higher, but because it's only a short story, I didn't feel it was necessary to rate it higher. Stunning writing, funny story, quick, easy read. Moving on to book number 2, I then listened to The Secret Garden by Frances Burnett. This book I read when I was really young. I read it as a child, I think a couple of times, and really enjoyed it. So I just had an inkling to re-listen to it and see if I still enjoyed it as an adult. It was published in 1998, and I honestly think the story of The Secret Garden is ahead of its time. and I still enjoyed it. I rated The Secret Garden 3 stars. I listened to it on Audible, and because it's a classic, you actually get classics for free on Audible, so I didn't have to pay extra for it or use a credit. So if you want to have free books on Audible, listen to classics. But yeah, I still really enjoyed it, and I definitely think it's ahead of its time. It follows a little girl, her name is Mary, and her parents unfortunately pass away, and she has to move in with her uncle, who is a bit of a recluse. He's very private, doesn't talk to anybody. She has to move in with him, and he has a son, so that's her cousin. It follows the story of her being very spoilt and uptight and demanding of things from servants, because this is back in the day when they had servants in the manors. So she lives in England in this kind of like castle manor type building, and she's very spoiled, very brattish, very demanding of things, and expects a lot from her servants. And it just follows the story of her finding a garden. It's locked away, it's secluded, nobody can get in there, and she ends up figuring out how to get in there and decides that she's going to revive the garden and make it new and beautiful again. And it is a wonderful story. The reason I think that it's ahead of its time is because it has an underlying message of using cognitive behavioral therapy to change your life. It follows, thoughts and perspectives on nature versus nurture, and that argument of what's important in the upbringing of children. It talks about the power of the mind, and how if you are brought up believing one thing, your body then reflects what you believe. Like the way that you think and talk to yourself in your head reflects throughout your body, and how important it is to change your thoughts and make them more positive, and how that can then reflect in your everyday real life. The power of your thoughts can actually heal you inside, and I just think it is a wonderful story, not just for kids but also for adults. It has a very powerful message. So 3 stars for The Secret Garden. Moving on to the third book that I got through in August. I also listened to this on Audible, and I listened to Black Beauty. So Black Beauty is by Anna Sewell, I think is how you say it. I'm so bad with names. I apologize. Black Beauty is also another book that I read when I was a child, and this is another me reading it to see if I still like it. The author actually intended for the book to be written for adults, but it's a children's bestseller back when it was published, and listening to it as an adult, I can tell where she's trying to get her message across to adults. It follows Black Beauty, which is a horse, and the book is written in the horse's perspective. So you follow his life, and it doesn't have a ton of plot, but it is more of a character study of the horse and what the horse goes through, but also through the horse's eyes, it really discusses the difference in human behavior and how that can make a difference to the lives and behaviors of animals. It really is just a reflection of how if you are an awful human being and you are awful to animals, they suffer more and struggle more than if you are a loving, wonderful human being, and that reflects then in the horse's behavior. So I can see where she was trying to get the message across to adults, but it is definitely written in a younger style of writing and is suited for middle grade young kids. So also really liked Black Beauty. I did rate that 3 stars as well. A lot of 3 stars to begin the month. But yeah, I really I love horses, and I love the book as a kid, so it's very nostalgic for me to listen to that. Book number 5 that I got through in the month of August. Book number 5 is actually Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. This is book 2 in the Farseer trilogy, which is her first trilogy. I rated this 5 stars. I absolutely loved this story. I do have a reading vlog. Well, not a reading vlog. It's in my first all things bookish vlog, one of my previous videos. I do discuss this in that. Yeah, I absolutely loved this. Thought this was so much better than book one. Book one I rated 4 stars. This I gave 5 stars. I just think it picked up right from where you left off with book one, and it just expanded so much more. So much happens in this. The magic system builds and is discussed more at length, and you find out a lot more information about the magic system and what you're able to do with the magic in this world. It has a lot of politics. If you're not interested in politics within your books, this is not the book for you. It does have a lot of politics, but so fun. It follows Fitz. He is the bastard child of a prince. He gets to live in the castle and gets to work in the castle and is part of the royal family, but he has no ties to the crown because he is pushed away basically from that life. He is taught as a young child to become an assassin. So he's a royal assassin. Obviously, he is the king's assassin. So he's a king's man, and it really follows that system of you follow the orders of your higher up person. Whoever is your leader, whoever you pledge allegiance to, is the person that you follow to the death. It's about Fitz growing up, becoming a man, and making decisions for the greater good of his kingdom, figuring out what's important to him and what he's going to do with his life. The ending of this was so good. Oh my god, I just wish that I could do this. I wish that I could talk to animals. It was just so cool and so well done. Robin Hobb's writing style is somewhat difficult to get into. The book is written in like an older writing style, so it takes a minute to get used to, but once you do get used to it, I find it really easy to jump into the world. And even though there is a lot of information and it's not action-packed, there are a few fight scenes and things with action involved, but it is more that politics and secrets and finding things out and mystery type vibes. There is a lot of information and everything is significant, everything's important. She doesn't make any scenes or do anything that is not of importance. It is really well done, and I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and I can't wait to read on in the trilogy and in her other series that she has written. Alright, book number 5 is a book called The Wonderful Thing About Phoenix Rose, and it is written by a lady named Josephine Moon. She's an Australian author, if you're interested in supporting Australian authors. I didn't love this story. I rated it 2 stars. This was my book club's pick for the month of August, and I refuse to not read book club's pick, so there was no way that I was DNFing this book, but I think if I had read it physically, I would have DNF'd it, and if it wasn't a book club book, I would have DNF'd it. But I listened to it as an audiobook and made my way through it, but I definitely really struggled. I didn't love it. For what it's about, it follows Phoenix. Phoenix is diagnosed with autism after she has a pretty public breakdown in the school that she works at, because she's a teacher. So she has a pretty public breakdown, and then she is diagnosed with autism. You're following her figuring that out and understanding her diagnosis and understanding certain behaviors and things that she can handle versus what she can't handle. She has a very supportive and loving partner who is also dealing with neurodivergence and racism. Phoenix has this breakdown and then she's on time off from her job, so she has like a month off, I believe, and her month off is coming to an end, and she's getting back in contact with the school and figuring out where she's going to go from here. The school is trying to basically like push her out. That's one part of the story, and then what ends up happening is she's on this Facebook group full of other autistic people, and one of the ladies on there ends up messaging saying that she has cancer and she needs to get all the animals that are on her property, because she has a bit of land and a property, and she has horses and chickens and ducks and snakes. Like, she has a whole bunch of animals, and basically she says she needs help finding homes for them. So Phoenix volunteers to take herself to this lady's place and help her out. The lady ends up passing away from her cancer very suddenly, and then Phoenix takes it upon herself to care for the animals and take them back to her home. So she has to go on this massive road trip with all these animals and get them back to her house, while also dealing with her new diagnosis of autism and figuring that out. So there are a lot of neurodivergent characters in this story. While I think the concept is fun, while I think representation of all these different types of people in the book is great, and I love neurodivergent representation in stories. I love being educated on different types of people and trying to, you know, have some empathy and put myself in their shoes. While I think that is all great, the story itself, it felt very forced to me. It felt as if the characters weren't neurodivergent for the sake of the story and because it made sense. The story was written for the sake of neurodivergent education. So it felt very forced that you're understanding autism and what these people go through. It didn't feel like it just made sense for the characters to be that way in the story. It was a story written for the sake of education. That just felt very forced, very chunky to me, and I just couldn't really connect with the characters. It felt kind of unrealistic. Yeah, I just didn't connect, didn't feel all the feelings that you hope to feel when you read a really good book. So I gave that 2 stars. Unfortunately, I didn't really enjoy it, but I did like aspects of it, and I think supporting Australian authors is important. It doesn't have that many ratings or reviews on Goodreads, so I am happy to put it out there in the universe. Moving on to book number 6 is The Italian Marriage by Jenna Lo Bianco. Jenna Lo Bianco is Italian, but she actually does reside in Melbourne in Australia, so supporting another Australian author. She is very passionate about Italian lifestyle and all things Italian, so, and you can really tell in her books that she is passionate about the Italian culture. You can really tell in her stories, and I did find the Italian culture within the story very interesting and beautiful. It's very beautiful to picture in your mind. The story itself I didn't really connect with. I also rated this 2 stars. It follows a man and a woman. I've completely forgotten their names. Sarah and Matthew. Matthew is actually Matteo. So it follows Sarah and Matthew. They have a marriage of convenience, and straight off the bat in the book they are married and meeting each other at the airport to go to his family's estate and listen to the lawyer speak about his inheritance. So he's trying to get his inheritance. He has to be married to get it. So they have a marriage of convenience, and they're married from page 1. Straight away, it was kind of unbelievable for me. It didn't really make sense. It is explained within the story. She does try to explain their marriage and why they got married. It just didn't make sense to me from the standpoint of the start of the book. Straight away, they are like very connected, very loving towards each other, very nice and understanding, and really just great human beings to each other. And it didn't make sense to me because in my mind, they don't know each other. So you can be nice and understanding, obviously, but they were acting like they had been married for years and years and years straight away, and it just didn't make sense to me. Aside from that, I can kind of get over that part. I can kind of push that to the back of my mind and move on with the story. I did find the plot was very all over the place. The way it was written and when I was reading it, it felt like when the author was writing it, she would have an idea and then she would just chuck that idea in straight away. And you know how a well-structured book, it feels like the idea flows throughout the entire story. It's not just plonked in there and you follow that bit of plot and then you move on to the next thing. It just felt very clunky, and I didn't know where they were going with the story, but the Italian culture within the story was really fun and beautiful, and I did enjoy that side of it. So 2 stars for the Italian marriage. The rubbish man coming to collect the rubbish while I'm filming. While I didn't really love the romance within this, it is not a spicy book. It has minimal spice, so if you want a nice, light-hearted, easy romance to read as maybe a bit of a palate cleanser, this doesn't have any spice if you don't like spice, so that could be a good option for you if you want a nice, fun, easy, no spice read. Book number 7 that I read is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I absolutely love the cover of this. I just think it's so beautiful. Literally every time I picked it up to read it, I would just stare at the cover for like 5 minutes. I was like studying the cover because I think it's a work of art. This I really enjoyed actually. I have read One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns, and I think this was way better. Way better. One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns I definitely enjoyed, and I thought that they were good, but I found myself confused in parts, and like the things weren't connecting and adding up for me. Some of the conversations that the characters had within the stories, I was like, what is actually going on? Like, I had no idea what was going on. It was just, I got confused. Maybe that's a bit of a me problem rather than a Rachel Gillig problem. But this was so good, and I really enjoyed this. Let's just wait for the bin man to pass. I ended up giving The Night and the Moth 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. This was so much fun. It's kind of moody and mysterious, and the female main character has to wear a gossamer, so it's like a shift over her eyes so nobody can see her eyes, which is really mysterious and interesting. And I thought that was a cool concept within the book. For what it's about, it follows a diviner. Her name is Six. Well, her name is actually Sybil Delling, but they call her Six because she's the 6th diviner. Basically, what she's employed to do within the, I guess you could call it a church, she has to drown, and then as she drowns, she then has a dream, and she dreams about these things called omens, and she is able to tell customers or people that come and pay for her to do this whether or not they have good signs or bad signs, so good omens or bad omens following them and their life. That's what she's employed to do, and she's coming up on her 10 years within the system of doing this kind of work. When you've done 10 years, basically you get kicked to the curb. Coming up towards her 10 years, all of her other diviner friends, so there's another 5 behind her, all of her diviner friends start mysteriously disappearing. So then she is determined to find out what's happened to them, where they've gone. You know, she goes on a bit of a mission to find out what happened to her friends and save them. To find out what happens to them, she then has a bit of a found family. She creates a bit of a found family. She asks the MMC for help finding her friends, and he is just chef's kiss. His name is Roderick. Everyone calls him Rory. I love him. Rory is just, oh, he's stunning. I love him. He's mysterious, he's moody, he's grumpy, he's a knight in shining armor. Come on. Come on. Give the people what they want, right? He is just chef's kiss, 5 stars. Adore him. Rory, stop. 4 stars. Really enjoyed this. This was so much fun, and I definitely think if you are waiting to pick this up, or you're hesitating to pick this up because you're not sure if you're going to like it as much as One Dark Window or Two Twisted Crowns, this was better. So pick it up. Also, Bartholomew, love him. So funny, so witty. If you don't know what I'm talking about, read the book and you'll figure it out. Loved him. Alright, 2 more books to go. So number 8, we have Mockingjay. So this is the 3rd and final book in the Hunger Games trilogy by Suzanne Collins. I never read the Hunger Games as a kid. I definitely regret that. I feel regret in my soul, deep inside my heart. Regret that I did not read this as a kid. But even so, as a 26-year-old mother and wife, I ate this up. The 1st, 2nd, and the 3rd book, I rated this 5 stars. Seriously, it is so freaking good. I'm with the rebellion. Sign me up. I'm with the rebellion. I want to be on their team. The end of this book hit me like a truck. Seriously, my Goodreads review just says, I feel like I've been hit by a truck. That's it. 5 stars, I feel like I've been hit by a truck. It's just because it is so powerful. The message in this is so strong and so powerful. If you don't know what this is about, I don't know what information to give you because this would just be full of spoilers. The Hunger Games book 1 is about a girl named Katniss Everdeen, and she gets sent to the Hunger Games, which is like a life or death fight. Basically the capital, so the big city, the people that run the world, they have divided everybody into 12 different factions. What would you call them? 12 different sections, and Katniss is from a mining section. That's what her town does. And they put everybody's names, all the kids' names, not adults, they put kids' names in a bowl and draw them out. And if they get drawn out, a boy and a girl get sent to the Hunger Games to fight for their life, and whoever wins gets a life of privilege, basically. That's basically what the 1st book is about, and then from there it just goes on and on and on until you get to the 3rd book, and then you feel like you've been run over by a truck. I don't know what to say. This was so freaking good. If you have not read the Hunger Games series in your adult life or in your childhood, and you literally haven't even looked towards this, even if you've seen the movies, I recommend reading the books. So good. I could rave about this all day. I cannot wait to read the prequels. I will be reading those very soon. Honestly, just want to get through Snow's book and move on to Hamish's because I love Hamish. He's one of my favorite characters ever written. I cannot wait to read the prequels. Last but certainly not least in this list of books for August, we have Christopher Paolini's Eragon. This is the 1st book in the Inheritance Cycle series. Christopher Paolini actually wrote this when he was 15. It was published when he was 19. That is crazy to me. I'm pretty sure he has like a Guinness World Record for like the youngest person to have a best-selling series, I believe. I don't know. This was really good. I gave this 4 stars. I did find it was young. I felt like the writing was young and could definitely tell that it was written for a younger audience, but I love a YA book and this was no different. I really enjoyed this. I've watched the movie as a child and it was one of my favorite movies as a kid. I've been talking to one of my friends about this recently, but he said that if I liked the movie that I would absolutely love the book because it's so much better, and I completely agree. The book is so good. It has a lot more information. Like, the movie doesn't go into any of the lore or history or the different parties, like the what are they called? There's like elves, there's Varden, there's the king's people, there's the shade. Like, there's so many different groups and things happening within the story that the movie just does not go into. This was so good. Obviously it has dragons, so that's like a bonus star for me. I love dragons in books. I also love the name Saphira. Isn't that just beautiful? Anyway, this follows Eragon. He is a boy and he goes hunting in the woods to find food for his family, and mysteriously an egg pops up and he thinks it's a stone. So it starts out as a stone. He doesn't know that it's an egg, but basically the egg is a dragon, and the dragon picks him to be the rider. So the dragon egg can stay unhatched for years and years and years until it finds the right person, and it chooses Eragon to be its rider. And this is the first rider in a really, really long time. Riders have completely died out within this world. From there, he kind of has to go on a quest and is kind of figuring out what side he's on and who is right and who is wrong and who he should believe and trust versus who is dangerous for him. And it follows that journey. It's a massive quest. You're going across country fighting, and it's just full of action. There's a lot that goes on in this, but it was really, really fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed Eragon. 4 stars. Okay, that is all the books that I have read in the month of August. I had a fantastic reading month, and I hope to have a fantastic reading month in September. If you have read any of these books and you would like to discuss them in the comments below, please do. I love chatting about books. That's literally why I came on here to discuss books, because I love talking about books with people. Just give me your thoughts of what you think about these books, what you rated them, if you struggled through some of them or loved others. I would love to hear your thoughts and feelings. Thank you so much for watching. I am so glad to have you here with me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, please do so, and I try to upload at least once a week. Please join my little community if you would like to. My camera battery is about to die, so I am going to swiftly move on and leave you guys to it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye!